And welcome back to the Gulf Coast Growth Show. Typically, Jason Lee kicks off that line for us, but he did me a solid and kind of said, hey, I'll let you run this one. So I really appreciate that. We love having Jason Lee kick these things off. I'm your host this time, Clint Aiken, and I'm sitting here with Dwayne Boudreaux, the VP of Commercial for S&B Engineering, and with Sabrina Schwertner, the Director of ACIT. And today we're going to be talking a lot about what ACIT does and their sister company, our sister organization, TCC. So we've got both of them here to talk about that. So I'm really, really looking forward to this conversation. These are very dear friends of mine. I've known them for a good while, so this is going to be fun. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, looking forward to this. It's a good group. I thought about catching a squirrel or some frogs on the way over and letting them loose halfway through, because that's how do you go viral these days? We got to do something.
Absolutely, yeah.
Make some attention.
Right. So, Dwayne, since you kind of kicked it off, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and your role with as the VP for S&B, and then a little bit about, we'll kick it over to Sabrina, let her talk about her background.
Sure. I'm kind of a recycle, came back to S&B only about 6 months ago. I was there 6 or 8 years ago, and you kind of don't know what you had until it's gone. And,
right.
So it's good to be back. They're a large EPC firm, 60 years old, privately held, family-owned business by the Brookshires and Slaughters, the S's and the B's, and we specialize in lump sum EPC work.
So mostly downstream, chemical plants, refinery,
midstream and downstream. Yeah, one data point, S&B conservatively has probably built 75% of any fractionation in the U.S.
Wow!
So it's a significant company with a great history and some great customers.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So, and Sabrina, your role as the director of ACIT is new, which is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your background, though, because you've been in the industry for a good while.
So I've been in the industry probably over 10 years. So my background is very broad. I have oil and gas background. So I actually know how to put together a blowout preventer and test it. And then I got into petrochem, so I've been inside probably, 30%, maybe more of the plants here on the Eastern Ship Channel on a materials management side. So I've done the turnarounds and all the craziness that goes along with that. So did that, and then I went into economic development, and so worked with a lot of industrial companies and kind of bringing them into a community. So a very different side. And so here at ACIT, I'm able to kind of bring all that together because I enjoy working with businesses and help them market and
get out there.
Make that connection.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about ACIT. What does it stand for? Because everyone always asks.
Everyone always asks that.
Right. Sure. So, and kind of what do they focus? Who are they trying to help? What's kind of the mission?
Okay, so ACIT is Association of Chemical Industry of Texas. So we were formed almost 40 years ago. So after TCC, and they saw that there was a need for the Texas Chemical Council to have the opportunity to work with the suppliers, the contractors, all those that work hand in hand in the petrochem industry. And so they formed ACIT, and we kind of create that opportunity where the TCC members and the ACIT members can come together and whether it's networking events or safety awards and conferences, and we provide that opportunity where they can talk and network and see how we can collaborate and join together on things.
Very good, very good. And so Dwayne, with the TCC, can you tell us a little bit about
a little bit. It's 100% owners, so it's a pretty unique organization. I know they get together and share best practices. They talk about common issues that they have. Their board and the ACIT board are similar. The ACIT board is 50% contractors and suppliers, 50% owners, and we kind of all leave our hat, our logo at the door, hanging on the hat rack when we walk in to talk about things that are right for the industry, right? Clint, it's very unique probably to the free enterprise system in that even though we're all in competition together as contractors, we know that there are right things to do and right things to share and best practices, and some of those come out in those meetings. And then the sidebar to that would also be the FREEPAC, and we can talk about that in a little bit as well.
Yeah. Well, let's go and talk about FREEPAC, because I mean, both these are political action committees, right? So let's go ahead and let's hit that on the head, man. You brought it up. Let's go.
It is. It's a small group of folks, and we get together and we discuss who's running for office. A lot of times, these folks come out of business. So they have a sense of the free enterprise system, of course.
Right.
But it's helping them understand. We have meetings with them either in their offices here in their districts or over in Austin. We have meetings with them to talk about issues that are important to the chemical industry and contractors as a whole, and remind them that elections have consequences, and we are here to support those that really appreciate what this industry is all about. The number of jobs, the number of hundreds of millions of tax dollars that it can potentially put into the local school districts and communities. And we're competing, if you will, with the folks on the other side of the Sabine. I love those guys in Louisiana. I'm kind of from there, right? But if we're not passing legislation that makes sense for an owner to invest $1 billion, $3 billion, $5 billion into the Texas Gulf Coast,
Right.
If we're not incentivizing them to do so, then they're going to move that to another state, or even worst case scenario, out of the country.
But even on the global stage, I mean, TCC helps people that are from outside the U.S. understand the value of investing here in Houston specifically.
Absolutely, yes.
So, or in Texas. So there's a lot of value in what the TCC and the ACIT are doing for our state. So I guess y'all take trips to D.C. also, right?
Yeah, correct.
An annual trip?
There's one coming up in a few weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
Yes.
So taking your private jet?
Not this week. No.
Just kidding.
Not.
We also do a chemistry day in Austin
Okay.
that we go up there and talk to all of the representatives and senators, and why it's so important for the chemical industry to remain strong here in Texas. And then we also work with the American Chemical Council. So you'll see a lot more stuff coming from the website as far as toolkits on how we're going to get that message out. What all do the chemical manufacturers produce? Because a lot of people don't really understand what the petrochem industry is really about, and how involved it is in everything that we do day to day. From the water bottles to the pandemic. If the chemical manufacturers hadn't stepped up during the pandemic, we wouldn't have had all the gloves and
sanitizer,
PPE and everything that we were able to shift and be able to produce that. And a lot of that came from Texas.
Right. And so kind of shifting gears too, I want to get back into how does the TCC and ACIT, how do y'all raise funds for the different things that y'all do? I know we do a lot of events, right?
We do a lot of things. So TCC is separate. It's a membership-based organization, and again, all made up of chemical manufacturers. But ACIT is the combination of TCC members and your ACIT member companies. So your supply companies, your contractors, the S&Bs of the world. And so we do events to provide that networking opportunity between the two organizations. And then also, like we just finished up our golf tournament in Corpus, that's a big FREEPAC fundraiser for us. So we raise FREEPAC dollars. We also raise leadership dollars, because not only are we doing the political action committee, but we also do a lot of legislation and lobbying and watching regulation and what's coming from a federal and a state level on behalf of our chemical manufacturers in Texas. Because not only is it recruiting new projects and new companies to come in, but we need to keep the ones that we have. So we need to make sure that regulation that's coming down the pipeline isn't going to hinder our manufacturers here in Texas.
Sure.
So that's a big piece of what we do.
Okay.
Meeting with those folks is significant, Clint, because one of my favorite senators, he was a state rep at the time, He's finishing up his tour in service.
Oh yeah, Larry Taylor.
Yeah.
We had him on the show recently. We love Larry.
We're all fans.
We met with him 15 years ago, and he comes from the business world. He owned an insurance company.
Right.
And for us to explain to him that we really feel like these project labor agreements aren't a good fit for the free enterprise system and our merit shop contractors. And he's an honest guy. He looked at me and he says, "Wait, what's a PLA?" So there's something about getting together in person. It's why we still put the smartest people on the globe into a rocket and we send them to outer space. There's something about being there, right? There's something about being in their offices, like Sabrina's talking about, walking the halls in Austin and Washington, meeting with them face to face, explaining some of our concerns, because the laws they pass have significant impact on our friends, our families, our communities, our schools. It's significant.
Absolutely. And so, one of the things that kind of branching off of that point, I want to circle back to is a lot of people are talking about energy transition right now, right? And so we've had a lot of supply chain interruptions. War with Russia and Ukraine has really affected us getting raw materials so we can effectively produce the chemicals and plastics and other things that we need to be able to produce from these plants. But y'all are involved with the energy transition side as well, and that's part of FREEPAC. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. S&B kind of did a reorganization a couple of years back. The founding B, Dr. Frickshire, passed away. And then I think the next generation of leaders and owners kind of shuffled the deck, did a reorganization, and one of those divisions that came out of that is our energy transition. So it's meeting, we've got 30 projects under our belt now that are about that continuous, that cycle of renewable and sustainability for clients that want to take plastic waste and turn it back into energy.
Right.
It's the refiners. Folks aren't getting on jets like they were before, and we're not driving across the country like we were before. So fuel consumption's down. The refiners feel like that's going to remain steady or even trend down as electric vehicles become more popular. And so they're looking for investments into renewable and sustainable type technology.
Right.
And so
And so part of FREEPAC also is educating those legislative officials about the energy transition as well, because there's a lot of things moving, there's a lot of moving parts, and that's something else that you guys cover with them, right?
Yes, they understand the financial side out of DC, because some of these monies are funding these projects or from our tax dollars, right? And so that's pretty sustainable. So we want to make sure that the money's being spent well and on projects that will have a good return on investment for everyone.
Right. Very good. So kind of moving on, I know you've got some events coming up like really, really fast.
We do.
So I think this probably be dropping, probably April, May-ish. So what do y'all have coming up?
So the most important event that we have coming up is April 18th, and it's the Houston Ship Channel Golf Tournament for ACIT. We moved it to Wildcat this year, and so we're excited about the new location. We're really excited that we're going to add an online VIP industry auction to this golf tournament. So we've done it twice now in Corpus, and it was incredibly successful a few weeks ago in Corpus, and we were able to raise over $10,000. That again goes towards the FREEPAC and leadership accounts for ACIT and TCC. So big impact, and basically asking the plant managers or the operations managers, turnaround managers to come in and be auctioned off online, and they get to come in and play golf for an afternoon.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
So the ACIT members get to bid on who their VIP is that they want to play golf with. And all the guys really had a great time. I mean,
that's cool.
It's primarily
a good
plant
day.
managers and maintenance managers
Sure.
or engineering managers that just volunteer their time. They appreciate what the association's about and happy to do so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. So if people want to get involved with TCC, can you tell us how people would get involved with that?
Yeah, the best point of contact, Sabrina, within that group would be...
that would be our Austin office. It would
Okay.
be our new membership director. A lot of people just still contact Hector directly. But TCC is I mean, we already have most of those owner operators
Sure.
already as a part of TCC, but ACIT is a combination of both. So we're always looking for new contractor companies, service companies, supply companies.
It's probably one of the best deals in town, right?
Absolutely.
The highest tier of dues is $1,500.
Right.
Right? There's an easy return on that.
Right.
And these types of associations are a little bit like, I call them health clubs, because you know it's the right thing to do is join. You know it's the right thing, but then you got to go work the machines, right?
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah.
So join, jump on a committee, check with Sabrina, call myself, jump on a committee or two. Two's great, three's too many, but join a committee, rub elbows with your industry folks, and the return's there.
So how I got started with ACIT, we knew each other about 10 years ago is when I met you.
Probably, yeah.
And so how I got involved was I started off as a volunteer, right? Got familiar with the organization. Some of the companies, employers that I was working with didn't see the value, unfortunately. But I'd still volunteer my time because I saw the impact of what ACIT was doing and how it benefited TCC. And so, I've been around there, so I would encourage you to volunteer first.
Absolutely.
If your employer, for whatever reason, won't put the money up front to do it. But this is a great organization. Truly, truly value what both of you people are doing for our industry. I don't know if we'll ever know the amount of jobs that have generated from the ACIT and from TCC, but it makes a significant impact in our local economy, in the Texas economy, and in the U.S. economy because of the work that you two are doing. So thank you for what you do. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many jobs, though, by the way.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
We just presented to the to Chemistry Day for the Deer Park Chamber this past week. So we Hector put together a slideshow, 68,000 direct jobs and another 305,000 related jobs just in Texas.
And most of those are six-figure income jobs. So that's amazing.
Average wage of $118,000.
There we go. Yeah. So that's a lot of economic impact.
That's a lot of impact, yes.
So you guys,
that's a game changer for families and communities.
Right.
Right? Not every kid was on a college track.
Yeah.
And so for someone to learn how to be an operator, someone to learn how to be a welder pipe fitter,
right.
It's a game changer.
Right.
There. Yeah, you were probably talking to JD about that the workforce development and education efforts from S&B and our Earn While You Learn programs.
Right.
So that's very, very sustainable.
Right.
When all of us are together and helping educate the next generation of craft.
Right. Well, I appreciate you being on the show. We're going to wrap things up, and if you know anyone that's interested in getting into the industry, if you know anyone that's interested or just looking for work, they're looking for a transition, they're not sure where to get involved, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can also contact Sabrina. Dwayne's pretty good on LinkedIn too. We're all pretty active on there, so I highly encourage you to do that. Also, please subscribe to our show. You can go to theallianceportregion.com. You can download other episodes. There's a lot of stuff that we've been putting out there. There's a lot more stuff coming to the table.
Yes.
Please share. Please, please, please share. There's someone that you know that needs to hear what we're talking about, so please go on there and share the show. We're on pretty much every format that you can find. So YouTube, iTunes, we're there. So wherever you want to listen to us, you can find us pretty easily, and feel free to reach out to us at any time. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for y'all being on the show. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next week.